And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley. If you could please do me a favor, head on over to Apple Podcasts, like, share, and review this. As a matter of fact, if you could just share it on your social media and tag me, that would be a great way to help me reach more people. And if you do that, I'll send you a nice sticker pack. Hey, before we get started, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor, TVPBN, which is a live stream network. If you didn't know that I do a live show for all my shows, it's live and spun up on TVPBN's network on Facebook. They do a great job of producing that show for me. You should go and check it out. If you'd like to do a show like this for your podcast, because I know a lot of you are my supporters, are podcasters as well, hit me up and we'll tell you what it will take to get your live show going. It's just another way to get yourself out there. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about bonus coverage with Brandon Mouw. That was my latest episode. I released that on Monday. Today is February 4th, so it came out on the 1st. And we talked to Brandon, who is a type 1 diabetic, or was a type 1 diabetic. He has this really great story about overcoming that because it was a pretty tough time for a while. He was a type 1 diabetic from birth, where he basically had to give himself insulin shots every single day as a kid on to where he currently is now. A couple of years ago, he almost died, and there was a point where basically type 1 diabetes, your pancreas shut down. His pancreas had shut down. He had lost a kidney, and his insurance, the only way that they could figure out how to make it better for him was to give him a pancreas-only transplant, and his insurance wouldn't cover that. It's an elective surgery. The funny thing about it is they would give you a kidney and a pancreas at the same time, but they wouldn't give you a pancreas only, which just doesn't make sense. If you need something, you need something. So he was kind of faced with this adversity of like, what's he going to do? How is he going to make this happen? And it was tough because at first, he started thinking about it. It's $250,000 to get a new pancreas, which is a lot of money. I mean, you think about houses now, that's half a house. 10 years ago when I bought a house, it was more than what my house cost to replace a body part. And they basically put a number on your life, because without it, he wouldn't be able to live. He'd have to live a very structured life. He'd have to be managing that blood sugar every single day. And there was times where he couldn't even get that handled. He couldn't even get it managed. He couldn't get it too high. He couldn't get it too low. He compared the blood sugars to being thick oil going through your veins instead of your blood flowing through. And blood has kind of a watery viscosity. So it's kind of a tough thing. There's times where he woke up, he was actually dead, and they had to bring him back because his blood sugar was so low or so high. It's a really tough situation. It's something that, someone of his age shouldn't have to deal with, and then let alone have someone else tell you that your life isn't worth or is worth $250,000, because I don't know about you, if you have kids or anything like that, their life is worth a hell of a lot more than that. So the biggest takeaway I took away from this was at the end of it, we always ask the same question: what is the shape of your success? And Brandon said that going through this situation had created something that made him realize that he needed to live his life to the fullest, be happy, do things that make him happy, because in the end, that's all that matters. If you spent your whole life not doing the things that you wanted to do, not doing the things that you enjoy, then you're going to have a lot of regret. And that goes with anything, not even just someone who needs a pancreas transplant or will not live to their full, expected date of living. So really, that's what I'm talking about with the show. I always talk about a lot about how you should do everything that you can in your power to follow your passions and do what you want. And I know that you might feel like you're stuck sometimes in the situation that you're in, but the fact of the matter is that you have the ability to get yourself out of that. And you need to just take that leap, that jump, that risk to better yourself, no matter what it be. Take a small step. If you want to go to college and be a doctor or something like that, then go take that one class at a time. Take the small step over and over again until you get there. Find a little goal, push yourself, and go after it. It's really tough because it's scary when you have to put yourself out there and do something that you're afraid that you might fail. And I think that that's the biggest thing that we deal with on a daily basis, is that failure is something that stops us. It impedes us. It's a barrier because we're afraid that if we fail, then there's no going back. And there is. If you fail, you just re-engineer what you did, and then turn around and do it again and do it without the same mistake. That's kind of the big takeaway from that. You need to make sure that that's what you do. Follow your dreams, work as hard as you possibly can to reach and attain those goals, and you're going to be happy. If you hang out and you just complain about your life and think that things aren't happening for you because you're not lucky or someone else was lucky, then that's a problem. The big thing that I've noticed a lot of times when people are successful, there's a lot of jealous people outside who say, look at this, look at that, look what they did. Their parents did this, they had that. They always try to look for the things that they didn't have, but they never see how hard they worked to get where they were getting. They never saw the part where they went home, cried that night because something didn't go the way that they wanted. They never saw how they were broke and they were living in a trailer for a while because they had to. You don't ever see the failures of these people. You only see the success portion of it. And so that's what you base your decision off. So think about that when you're basing your decision on successful people. They worked hard. They got there. I'm not saying that everyone doesn't get given something. There are times where people who don't work hard for that, but you only see the promotion. You only see the nice car. You only see the big paycheck. You don't know what they did to get there. Think about that throughout your day. I hope that you have a great day. If you can follow me over on Instagram at wes.tankersley, check out my PodSpout link. You can watch the videos to these. You can look for any podcast section they have there. They have Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'd love to have you as a supporter and a listener. Follow me on any social media. Like, share, and review this. Share it on social media. I'll hook you up with a sticker pack, and I hope to hear what you think of the show. Have a great day. Hey, I almost forgot to tell you. One of former guests on my podcast, Jay Finning, and I, every Wednesday at 6:30, we're doing an IG Live, just calling it One Drink Wednesday. We're having a virtual drink and chatting about what's going on between the two of our podcasts. If you haven't checked out his, you need to head on over to the Hard Parking Podcast and check it out. It's a non-automotive podcast. And we talk about his, mine, the guests that I have coming up, the guests that I've talked to, and a lot of great things are going on over there. So check that out. IG Live, Wednesdays at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time, 5:30 Pacific.